You were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was your covering. The sardius, the topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, the jasper, the sapphire, turquoise, and emerald with gold. The workmanship of your timbrels and pipes was prepared for you on the day that you were created. You were the anointed cherub who covers. I established you. You were on the holy mountain of God. You walked back and forth in the midst of fiery stoves. You were perfect in your ways from the day that you were created. These verses speak of the devil. These verses speak of Satan. There was a time when God appreciated, approved of, adored, and yes, loved the devil. There was a time God loved Satan. There was a time He adored him. He created him. There was a day when God loved Satan, and He even gave him a name of endearment and honor in Isaiah chapter 14 and verse number 12, when He called him Lucifer, which literally means bright one, shining one, day star, morning star, wonderful. He's beautiful. God saw in Satan wonderful, beautiful, endearing things. Wisdom and heavenly graces were embedded within his very being and creation. Satan was a creation of God. He was evidence of God's majestic handiwork and expression of God's masterful artistry. He was beautiful and wonderful in every way. God loved him. He loved him, but the devil sinned. The devil sinned. He sinned in a way that turned him against God. He sinned in a way that forever erased his ability to get and or receive God's love forever. There came a day when God could no longer love the devil. That's when He changed his name. When God looked at the devil, when He looked at Satan, God could no longer see anything in him endearing. Gone were the traces of his creator. Gone were the traces of anything redeemable. Gone were the traces of anything endearing. Gone were the traces of anything beautiful. Gone were the traces of anything that made God love him. Gone. Gone. Forever gone. And what I'm about to say to you right now, my friends, might cause spiritual shock. Like Satan, there will come a day when God will no longer love lost people. There will come a day when God will no longer love humanity. Humanity will no longer be endearing to Him, appreciated by Him. He will no longer see the traces of His creation in human beings. There will come a day when the redeemable qualities of humanity will cease to exist according to God. When the image of the Creator will no longer be visible to God in people. A day when God ceases to love mankind who is lost. Scientists will call it and can call it anything they want to. They might call it global warming or an eroding of the earth or a scientific effect of some sort. People might call it a tragedy or just misfortune. Politicians can call it bad policy or mismanagement. But the reality is, humanity is on a crash course with the judgment of Almighty God. And there is coming a day when God will quit loving people, just like He quit loving Satan. This is about the rejection of humanity to God. That humanity gets so far outside the love of God that God rejects them. That they so lose the traces of the Creator in them. That humanity so loses it that He can't even love them anymore. What does this tell us? That humanity, a person, a people, a nation, can become so God-rejecting. We can reject God so much. We can become so God-hating. So God-repulsed, if you will. So contrary to God's love and truth that they become rejected by God, worthless, unloved by the Creator. Now today, right now, within the sound of my voice, wherever you are, I want you to know that God's love is very, very, very much alive for you. The unsaved, He loves you. The most lost, He loves you. The most wicked among us, He loves you. But here's the danger. The more you continually reject God's love, the more you resist God's mercy, the more you shun God's kindness, the harder your heart becomes. And you actually lose the ability to be able to embrace. You think you're going to retain it. You can reject Him so much. The more you reject Him, the harder you become. The more you push God off, the colder you become. There was a day that Jesus loved Judas. There was a day that Jesus loved him. He called him. He saw endearing traces and lovable things in him. Things that were redeemable and savable. Things that were approachable and endearing to Jesus. He saw them in him. I want you. See, the harder we become towards God, the more we lose traces of our Creator. The harder you become, the more you reject Him. You lose the traces of the Creator. See, rejecting God causes you to lose traces of God. Rejecting God makes you hard. The same thing happened to Satan. What happened to him in the end? I will ascend unto the Lord. I will be like the Most High. You know what that happens? That becomes a spirit of independence, that what you think and what you feel is above God. We don't fully realize, friend, how hard we can actually become. Did you really think you would become as bitter as you have become over some things? But you did. Did you really think you would perform some of the acts that you performed? But you did. Did we really think we'd turn out like we did? But we did. Don't underestimate your ability to become what you think you will never become. That is the great risk in waiting, friend. We could become harder than we could ever imagine and realize. The sweetest lady, the kindest man, become a bitter old soul that can't receive God. May it not be of you. May it not be of me. I also hear a lot of people, both saved and unsaved. They'll tell me, well, you know what, Pastor? I don't trust God anymore. I don't trust Him in specific areas of my life. I just don't trust God anymore. You know what that's code for? You know what people are really saying? You know what we're saying when we say we don't trust God? What we're really saying is, I resent God and I'm angry at Him because of what happened in my life. That is the subtle underlying veins of becoming bitter at God and blaspheming and rejecting Him. How dare God make me go through that? Why did God do that? Why did God cause this to happen? Why didn't God save me from that? Why didn't God make me avoid that? Listen, God never told you to be in a relationship with that person. God never told you to go in that business deal. God never told you to make those choices. God never told you to make those decisions. God's not going to chase you around and trip you up. You still have the power of free will and choice, friend. A grudge against God will ultimately cause self-destructive practices in you. You will become self-destructive. Humanity has become self-destructive because humanity has a grudge against God. I believe in God. Friend, your actions betray you. I'm a believer. Your life betrays you. You're just saying that as backup, but the reality is you're getting harder with every day that you live. And friend, it's time to break. It's time to break in the merciful hands of a mighty God. Quit rejecting Him. America, quit rejecting Him. Matthew chapter 24 and verse number 12, speaking of the last days, Jesus says, the love of many will wax or grow cold. Can you not feel the temperature of humanity subsiding? Can you not feel the hearts of men and young people subsiding? Can you not look in their eyes and see it's cold? We've grown cold. The church has grown cold. Pastors have grown cold. Families have grown cold. Marriages have grown cold. Teenagers have grown cold. Society has grown cold. The church is cold. What is that coldness? That coldness is the result of rejecting God over and over and over and over and over and over again. The more you reject God, the colder you get. How cold are you? And the hardest thing you will ever do, my friend, in life is escape God's love. It's the hardest, most difficult thing to do. But can I tell you something? Some of you are doing it. Humanity is doing it. Even though it's the most difficult thing. And why is it so hard to do? Because God is relentless in His love. It's all over. It's everywhere. He's just constantly hitting you. At every trial, there He is. Hey, here I am. You walk away. You keep rejecting it. You keep walking away from it. You keep escaping the love of God. The hardest thing to do, you keep doing it. Somehow, you're an escape artist. You're a spiritual Houdini. So many have performed the impossible. They have gotten out of a life. They have escaped life without the love of God. And it was everywhere. Everywhere. It's hanging around this room today. It met you in the door. It kissed you when you woke up. When the sun rose, it was the mercy of God. His tender mercy was brand new for you today. But you are a spiritual escape artist. You keep avoiding the love, the mercy, the healing, the grace, the kindness of God. And friend, I don't think it's time for you to get out of it today. I think it's time for you to get wrapped up in it today. Your continual escaping puts you in danger, friend. You are not escaping to something better, you are escaping to something worse. I know you got plans. I got plans. But those plans could end today with one final breath, friend. The love of God is not offered to lost humanity forever, and it will not be offered to you forever. It is expedient that at some point you respond to the mercy of God. Your fight's with God, and you need to surrender.